Hey everyone, what's going on? It's me, Alex. First of all, before I say anything, I just want to thank a lot of you guys because in my last video, I asked for some of you guys to like the video before, and surprisingly, like it was one of the videos with more likes and most views. Even though like in my last video, I basically got a scam. Someone offered me a job and it was a scam. But yeah, all of you guys did like the video and show a lot of support, so appreciate it. Like again, just because I just started making these videos just for kind of like for fun and just overall just to have I guess talk about my experience in coding bootcamp and overall what's it like to be trying to get a job in tech. And yeah, and so far like I've been enjoying the videos, enjoying the positive feedback that you guys been giving me. So yeah, thank you. Okay, and for this video, I tried something different. I told you guys I was gonna be trying things for this channel, and I'm actually gonna be interviewing one of my best friends and one of my classmates from Hack Reactor. I met Eivin probably like a year, almost a year ago. It's about to be a year. We met during a Hack Reactor Premium Prep. We had a couple of we did some things together, but then eventually we got separated, and he progressed more quickly than me. Like, and he basically yeah. So you'll get to hear the whole experience of the interview. Like I'm gonna be interviewing him, asking him questions. Like questions that might be helpful for you, such as why did he go into coding, some of the things he did, some of the struggles. So it's gonna be a really informal interview, like just very conversational. But if you would like to, like in the future, or even right now, like if you wanna like ask any questions directly to Eivin, you can leave it in the comments, and I know Eivin will be checking the comments to read your questions and answer them directly. But yeah, like if you have any questions, or in case of the upcoming, because I do have like another 4 or 5 interviews coming up with different people from either Hack Reactor or different bootcamps. So yeah, in case you guys want to like have like a specific questions that you want me to ask, please let me know. But anyways, again, hopefully you enjoy this. It might be a little bit lengthy because me and Ivan we just continue talk. We talk a lot. So yeah, but if you have any questions directly or any feedback, again, please reach out. And again, I want to thank all of you guys for liking my previous video and being super supportive. And I'll continue making these videos even if I get a job. I'll I'll keep coming back and providing content for you guys and trying to I don't know be somewhat valuable, because I mean overall like my whole goal is for me to create content that is gonna help people that are or wear my shoes before, because I've been through the situation when I'm trying to learn about different technologies and learn about like the industry. So if I in any way I'm able to help you, I'm super glad. Okay, so hopefully you enjoy this, and yeah, leave a comment if you can or if you want to. I'll see you guys in the next video. Enjoy the interview now. Today's video, it's gonna be pretty special because I'm interviewing one of my best friends from Hack Reactor, and also my one of my mentors, because he ended up being my mentor in Hack Reactor, and we came pretty tight. And I'm happy to like basically see like we're both well, mostly him, but he's now killing it. But I mean, it's been cool because we're pretty similar in as far as that we started coding with no experience at all, and we're now like basically get to say that we're gonna. I mean, well, he gets to say that he's a software engineer. Me, like I feel like I'm the right track, but he actually now he's a software engineer. But yeah, I'm gonna be interviewing my best friend, one of my best friends, Ivan. And Ivan, please introduce yourself. Just tell us like briefly or in detail a little bit about yourself, and just yes, let's just so people hear
Yeah.
about yourself, man.
So my name's Ivan. Thanks so much for having me, Alex. This
Dude, of
was
course,
great.
man. It's a
Um,
pleasure.
so about myself, I was never a software engineer before this. I was actually professionally, I was a critical care nurse at one of the major hospitals here in Houston. It was really fun. I enjoyed it. And then I saw that there were some things that I'd like to improve. And then I noticed that a couple of my friends here did Hack Reactor, which is a coding boot camp. It's an immersive, advanced immersive software engineering boot camp. And I would always vent to them about like, hey, if you guys were able to solve this, can you fix this problem that I'm having? And they would say, well, yeah, of course, that's easy. And then I always tell them, like, then why don't they do it? And why isn't anyone fixing it? And it was just, it was a good start. I would watch over their shoulders whenever they went through Hack Reactor. And it flung me into exposure of the software engineering world. And that's where I came to be, was like following in their footsteps. And it was really hard because they didn't really like, they didn't want to baby me too much. It's important to struggle when you're learning, or else you'll never learn. So yeah.
Cool. All
Yeah.
right. So I mean, you kind of covered like the next question that I was going to ask you. But I mean, it seems like you went into coding to kind of like fix something that was kind of like, I guess, like disturbing you like previously,
Yeah.
and also you pick Hack Reactor based on other people's experience. Maybe like if you can combine both questions, why specifically makes you go into coding and why Hack Reactor?
Yeah.
Because I
Sure.
just really quick, sorry. A lot of people ask me that question, like why did I pick Hack Reactor? So you're telling me like basically based on your experience, but yeah, if you can also tell me like how did you, if you did some other exploration, like or some other assessment into which one was the best bootcamp for you,
Yeah. Yeah.
that'd be cool, man.
Yeah. So when I picked Hack Reactor, um, it was mainly because of my two friends. But at the same time, I was trying to balance the costs of the school, how long it would be, and what was their statistics. The cool thing about Hack Reactor is that they always publish their statistics of their success rates for their students, and that was actually the one that defined which coding camp I was gonna join. There was a different coding camp here in Houston um, that our other friend was a teacher of. But I decided not to do that just because of the data, specifically of the success rate and also just the experience of my two friends. And so that's the reason why I picked Hack Reactor. Although it's kind of expensive, but I did financing through Climb Credit just to help me through the like paying for the tuition, which is great because I can the payments are in installments, and eventually you start just paying it off after you graduate. So that was,
Awesome,
yeah.
cool. Um, yeah, I know this question. I don't think I was gonna. I don't think I told you to ask you this question, but it just came to my mind
Yeah.
that you basically had like a good um I wouldn't call it plan B, but I mean at least like for example, right? Like worst comes to worst, like coding doesn't work out. You could have come back to like your job and
Yeah.
from what I'm hearing, like you were doing pretty well before. Like you were like a lot of
Yes.
people know that you were. I mean, everyone in Hack Reactor knows that you're like a nerd, like like a legit like registered nurse. So yeah, I mean, like was having like a good backup, like a backup plan, did that like kind of like help you out a little bit, or
Yeah.
was that
Yeah.
like, or,
So yeah, with backups, right? Like
yes,
yes and no. Yes, I always had that to go back on because I love it. I love doing critical care nursing, even though it's like life or death. It's yeah, it's crazy. I love the adrenaline rush. And no, because I really did not want to go back to bedside nursing because I knew that if I do become successful in doing the self-engineering critical care blend, oh, and that's the reason why I want to do this. I didn't want to like totally let go of my medical background, my nursing background, but mesh it together. In other words, leveraging what I already have to something new. Now, granted, when I was in the hospital, I never met any IT guy that I was working with. Whenever they're like asking us for implementations or new additions that they want in our computer documentation system, um, they never really understood the way that nurses and doctors thought. Right? They can only think in a technical computer way, but for us nurses, we need it to be um, like it has to mesh with our workflow. It can't. The technology must not disrupt our workflow because our patients are our priority. So, that being said, now that I'm on the other world now, right? I can now look back and see, hey, as a nurse, this thing, this type of technology or feature really messed up our workflow. It was more of a burden rather than a helpful tool. So now I can help build these new things and help my colleagues, which is a far greater number than if I was to just stay in one hospital. Now, in essence, when I start building more things, I can now help a wide array of clinicians that who feel the same way as me, but also is very passionate with the care that they give to their patients. But also they want to make sure that they're doing everything like, legal, making sure that they're documenting the right things, everything's being generated in the background, and so that way, no one's like burdened with a computer. So to answer your question, like, is a background or like a backup job necessary? Excuse me. Not necessarily. You don't need that.
I think like I'll probably come back to that like eventually, just once you start talking about like the job search, because I
Yeah.
think like I'll bring that up just to
Sure.
remind me, because it's people are gonna see the relationship. I ask you about like kind of like a good background career or something to kind of like fill on. But
Mhm.
all right, so going back to kind of like, okay, so we're in Hack Reactor, obviously. I mean, I don't want to like embarrass you or embarrass myself, but we were kind of like those, you and me were kind of like those people who actually were like newbies, like, not a lot of, not like, like some people come in with like years of experience, like years working experience or college degrees, and you
Yeah.
and me kind of came in like really fresh, not a lot of experience. So what were some of the major struggles that you had at the beginning, or even during like the whole boot camp? Like, do you remember something, like
Yeah.
anything, right?
Right. So yes, and I am not afraid to admit that that I struggled. Anyone will struggle when they're trying to learn something new, especially when it's like the pace is so fast, right? So the prerequisite I would suggest is that you have to be ready. You have to be ready to do this. Like, put everything down, hunker down, tell everyone I love you, goodbye. Like, you won't see me for a few months. And you just have to be ready to work hard and struggle. And the reason for that, and that's by design, it's because that's how you learn, is to push through the struggle, and then you'll start learning. Let's see.
Hey,
And
let me interrupt you really quickly, just
yeah,
because just like I think like that's good that you're saying like you have to be ready. But lately I've been getting a lot of not a lot of people, but some people have
yeah,
been asking me, like some people have gotten either laid off or for some reason they lost their job, or they want to make a career change like now, and they're
yeah,
thinking about doing a boot camp like like in a week or 2 weeks.
yeah,
But I think like something that I really kind of like regret not doing prior to Hack Reactor, like you said, ready. I wish I probably would have taken more time to just learn like some basic things, kind of like slower pace instead of just jumping in.
yeah,
Do you feel like is that something you probably would like to have? Like a little bit more coding prior to Hack Reactor,
yeah.
or you think like just jumping in and doing it like it's the right way to approach it?
No. Like, especially for my situation, um, I prefer that I should have prepared more before jumping into the boot camp, right? I did do the prep course that Hack Reactor offered, separate from their main um, immersive, just to help me like with the finer details. But at the same time, they did offer those who were trying to learn solo um, before they did their admission tests. They Hack Reactor had these like resources. I forgot what they were called.
I think I remember like I think it's called the solo prep or something. I don't know if you still have it, but it was like I remember like it was like a 6 week. It was just you're basically working solo, but they're kind of like guiding you and providing you like
uh,
with like a guy.
they were
I forgot
video.
about I think it was called Learn, right? Like that's what we
Yeah.
used, Learn.
They were-
Yeah, it's
they-
like you have access to Learn for like 6 weeks, and like you're given like a module to work or something.
well, even before that, like even before the learn modules, there was like they emailed us, go to Udacity and check out
That's right.
intro to JavaScript, and then there was something. Zeus.
I'll look. I want to look for all those resources because I probably
Yeah,
have them somewhere and post them on the YouTube, like on the
yeah,
description. Because yeah, it'd be cool to people for like like anybody wants to like, and all those things are free. Like that's the
yeah,
cool part. But again,
exactly.
like I think like I myself did not spend a lot of time learning all those
Yeah,
things, like nailing them down. Which I feel like if I was to go back, I'll probably do it.
yeah.
But
I agree. Yeah.
let me ask you now. I mean, kind of similar question, but was at any point did you feel like, okay, this is too difficult, I'm gonna give up, or did you had any thoughts about giving up? While maybe even I don't know, like during Hack Reactor before or any point.
So yes, multiple times throughout my entire stay, right? Even in a prep course, I think after, gosh, I forget, like maybe 4 weeks into it, and I still had struggled with for loops. I was like, oh my gosh, like, did I make the biggest mistake of my life? But my teacher was so good at like just showing me, hey, like let's try this again. Let's walk through it together. And granted, I did ask for help, from the TA, the tech assistants, as well. But at the same time, it just I needed the encouragement to know that, hey, you're struggling, and that's normal, and that's okay. Now, once I got to the immersive, or sorry, the prep class with like John, right? He also showed me like I thought differently. I needed to write my code down. Like basically, he taught me I do well when I whiteboard. I can't just type things down. I need to see it, color it, and whatever. And then in the immersive, uh, man, I struggled after the third week, and I was just like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But our Anna was amazing in just being able to approach and talk to. Haley was great too. They're both our, I guess you would say, guidance counselors uh, slash therapists.
Oh yeah, definitely therapist, man.
Yeah, because
So
I'll be in like the brink of crying, but they would
so
be
I,
like,
I guess you're kind of touching like I might as well like ask you this question now, but at what point did you feel like, you know what, man, like I can actually do this, like I can make
yeah,
this as a career? Because like I just asked you, like, when did you were giving up, and when did you realize, like, man, like I can do this, I'm able to do it, or let's do it?
yes. So the first aha moment was through Mario, who was also part of the prep course. He will call that helped me understand that my way of thinking is different from other students, but I have to be okay with that. And so after my talk with him, I wrote down for loops by hand multiple times, and then it clicked. Like I saw the image of the code in my head, and it made sense. And then going into the ramp up with John Michelin, he encouraged me to just continue doing extra like toy problems after class, just so that way, I get comfortable, like, just to challenge me, right? Just having that person like push me and just tell me, hey, this is normal. Because in my head, I'm telling myself, I'm crazy for doing this. Uh, um,
Yeah.
yeah. And so that's the second time where I finally figured out like I can do this. And the third part was once we get to the immersive with Cody. He helped me like just be challenged, like to be gracious with myself, especially when I hit walls. But it's okay to ask for help, and you mustn't be afraid to ask for help, because that's the reason why our teachers are there, is for us to reach out to them. And that's also another thing, right? When we went to public school, we're always taught like, ooh, if we talk to our teacher and ask for help, sometimes they might get mad at us, like, why are you being so stupid? Why can't you get this?
Oh yeah, no, like just I feel like that's I completely understand, like that. Yeah, and a lot of times, like, but also I feel like kind of like to touch in your point, right? Like, also kind of like asking the right questions, right? Because like I feel
Yeah,
like a lot of times, at the beginning, like every time I had an error in my console, I'll I'll ask like, hey, what if I have an error? And first, like I don't know, any person that will jump in and help me,
yeah,
they will ask me like, okay, have you looked up the error? Like, can Google it? And I was like, oh no, I haven't. So like a
yeah,
lot of times, like just asking the right questions is probably more important than actually like the problem, right?
Yeah, like isn't it true like for yourself like as well that we had to learn to Google better like before we ask, our tech
Oh
mentor.
yeah, it's that's that. I feel like just googling itself is like an honestly like an art. You know, like googling
Yeah,
like the right questions is like super important.
yeah,
So we both did remote. Like we did people. So I think some people know that we did. I did remote the whole time, and so did
yeah,
you. What would be like some, I don't know, like some cool things about like doing remote, or some things that you
yeah,
found them like difficult, especially now that we're keeping it now. A lot of people are working remote. A lot of people are doing like all their education remote. Yeah,
yeah.
maybe like just a couple things, right, for people.
Yeah, like so are you asking like how did I like learning remotely?
Yeah, and what did you like about it, and what did you dislike, and maybe some
Sure.
any other tips for people who are doing or thinking about like doing remote.
Yeah, so the beauty about like Hack Reactor, and granted I'm not like a Hack Reactor evangelist or whatever, is that they've really designed it well where even if you're working remotely, you're still able to interact with your classmates, your friends, your teachers. They have these social hack nights where, at the end of the week, we just chill and play online games together. And everyone knows that whenever we do social hack night, I'm usually at a Starbucks because I just want to get out of the house, somewhere different, and this is pre-COVID, so we were lucky that we could do that. But yeah, pre-COVID, went to Starbucks. People would think I'm crazy talking to my computer, laughing out loud, right?
Hey, and not only that, you're also the meow champ, bro. If I
Yeah,
remember correctly. Like
yes,
I won't tell people what them like people. Hey, sorry guys, but you have to you guys have to go to Hack Reactor to understand
yeah,
what the meow is. But I
yeah.
just meow champ, and everyone knows that he's a champ.
I remember, yeah, meowing and then having to dance it just because. So yeah, things like that really makes it feel like I hang out with everyone, even though we're so far away. Like, some of our friends are from Canada, right? Or like, I don't know, like
And
other
that's
countries.
that's the reason why we feel like we build like a really good relationship with most people in our cohort. You know, like you're even though like it's remote, like I feel like if it was in person, you probably just have like a group of I don't know, because I mean, like I went to high school, I went to college, and like you
Yeah,
normally just sit around with like the same people and just talk to like 4 or 5 people in each class, and that's your
right.
good circle. But like Hack Reactor did something different, like that I feel like I had a good connection with like at least 80% of my classmates. You know, like I know
Right.
something about him, and they know me something. You know, like he was completely crazy how it worked. Maybe because we're all like going through the same struggles and finding it super hard, so we're all helping each other. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was crazy. It's crazy how we bonded. You know.
Yeah, and that's also the good thing about like working remotely is because you can like hit them up even after class, and as if they were there. The thing that I didn't like about, I guess, working remotely is also the same, I guess, reason. I don't get to physically like see them. But one day I will travel and I'll visit you and the rest of our.
Oh, that's happening for sure, man. But we have to go to Denver because like everyone's in Denver, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
Fun.
I guess something like I mean, since I feel like one of the things like perhaps like in doing remote that I kind of like and dislike that there was really like another like it was hard to tell when to end the day. Like like
Yeah.
there was some days that we ended up coding like to like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning
Yeah.
your time, 1 in the morning my time,
Yeah.
because again like the fact that it's remote, like we're just keep doing it and we're just like all of a sudden like it's the next day and it's yeah, I guess like that's just something that I feel like that I like doing remote like you sometimes don't realize like the time,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah. And like I remember like working on a project with a classmate until like 4 in the morning. And we had a class the next day that started like at 10. So it was like, oh man, this is this is gonna be rough.
All right, Ivan. So we're kind of like done with all the questions, Hack Reactor, and all coding things. Now let's jump into the job search because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you you were able to find a job fairly quickly, like like
3 months,
almost
I'd
yeah.
say.
I mean that's pretty fast, right? But
Yeah.
a lot of people, I mean, a lot of people in your cohort, like with the old, you're pretty well known for being like one of the guys that everybody wants to work with. Like you feel
Yeah.
like I mean, I don't, it, like everyone wants to work with you because you're a pretty nice guy. People like seem to enjoy
Yeah.
your company. Is that something that really help you like in during the job search?
Yes, and what you're describing is soft skills. We mentioned earlier that I wasn't the best or the strongest coder, but I struggled and I worked really hard. And so my classmates would see that. It's like, all right, like, hey, um, it, Ivan is like very approachable, and he's very humble and willing to take feedback. And I love that because like I love honest feedback that helps me grow as a coder. And at the same time, my classmates, because they're teaching me, it also strengthens their ability to code. And so it benefits everyone if there's open communication. So with soft skills, like the way that we're talking right now, be friendly. Like no matter how different the other person is, like whether it's like their upbringing, their backgrounds, their political ideologies, it's okay. Like it's okay to be different. That's why we're Americans, right? We're a good like salad of things. So I think it's important that once you do, let's say, if a person wants to do remote work, or if they're considering software engineering, realize that in the real world, you will be interacting with people of different, backgrounds. So as an engineer, be okay with working with someone different, and just be approachable, be friendly, help them out, because you know how you feel whenever you're struggling, and when you want someone to help you. So yes, be approachable, be friendly, be nice, be just a good person. um
Yeah, no,
yeah,
definitely. Um, just another like probably like one or two more questions in regards to the
yeah,
job search. Because people, this is actually a question like a lot of people ask me. They ask me like, what are like you don't have to go too much into detail like about like Hack Reactor helping you like with the job search,
yeah,
but maybe like if you yeah, if there's something probably like just one or two things that, for example, like maybe your mastermind group or maybe like working with a career coach,
yeah.
how are those things beneficial for you?
Yes. So I would definitely say that if it wasn't for my career coach, that I would have struggled doing my job search, because like although I'm like very good with communication, there are some techniques and skills that you could only learn by someone who's had a career coach who's had an experience with like interviewing people, or seeing what qualities an employer is looking for. Just having that push helps a lot. Now, my mastermind group, which if other people don't know what that is, it's a group of like classmates or students, the graduates, that work together, that keep each other accountable. So having your friends keep you accountable of how many applications you're sending, how many follow-ups you're doing, and just to encourage one another, because it is a grind looking for work after a long stretch of learning. And granted, before I forget this part, you will be burnt out by the time you finish your schooling, and then just having to.
Even before, like you'll get to start getting burned out like by week 9, week 8, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I was so burnt out by week 8. But
I mean, we were on it for a couple months, so like like we were on it like yeah. I'm surprised like we survived it because like you're right, like you get definitely burn out. Just kind of like like I said at the beginning about your experience working in a different field, like the medical field,
yeah,
and you were interviewing and getting offers in companies in medical field, and it's kind of similar to what I've been going through because I've been interviewing
yeah.
in companies with finance because I work in finance. But maybe yeah, like did that make some difference for you when people were asking you like, hey, we noticed you have experience in medical
Yeah.
fields, like how about working for a company?
Yeah, yeah. So my previous background helped a lot, just because that's what they were. Well, their company is what it was what they were needing, someone with a background, but also who understood their language. Like in other words, I was translating for both sides. So for you with finance, now you're translating in both sides, finance and tech. So we're now bilingual, I guess. And it's very lucrative, right, to leverage your previous background, because it helps your employer, but it gives you an edge. Now, for before I discourage anyone who doesn't have a type of background, let's say they're straight out of like high school and they just want to do software engineering. yes, your experience will be different, but now this is where the key part comes in. You have to be driven to build and learn and make your portfolio look nice. So that way, whenever you do your interviews, you have something to show them. Hey, I didn't go to college, right? But the thing is, you don't need to. But I've built all these great things that even people with, what call that, computer science degrees can't build or whatever. So yeah, like your experience will be different for
Yeah,
different
no,
engineers.
definitely agree. But yeah, just kind of like touch a little bit more on that. I felt like kind of like more, what's the word? Maybe like honesty, like when I was like actually like applying to companies that actually care about like kind of like in finance. I don't know if you felt the same way when you were actually like applying for companies in medical.
Yeah,
I don't want to name other companies, right? But let's say like, I was applying for a company that does like I don't know, like they specialize on marketing for something. I did
yeah,
not really feel the connection, but when I actually interviewed for companies in finance, I think like the people saw like, okay, this guy's actually like super passionate for. So I
yes.
think like passion is like plays a big deal, right? Being
Oh yeah,
passionate about a company.
yeah. And like I'm sure like you've experienced that they can tell whenever a person's being honest and passionate about their company, because that it shows that hey, this employee, if we hire him, he's not gonna just run away like quickly. They're gonna have someone who's loyal, who's gonna protect the brand. So that's good. I'm glad that you mentioned that.
Yeah, well, Ivan, this concludes our our interview, man. Like, I'm pretty sure people are gonna like ask me like a lot of questions for you. So we might have to do a second round, you know, because you've only been working for your company less than a month, but maybe in a couple of more weeks we're able to like talk about it. But is
Yeah.
there anything else that you might want to talk? I don't know, like any other recommendations,
Well,
suggestions for people?
how have you been surviving quarantine and COVID? Like
Oh my God, that's a good one. Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. I think like I personally I need, I think I told you, everyone knows it, like a lot of people that I need like to do some kind of like physical activity. Otherwise, I feel like I go crazy, you know, like, if I'm not doing something, like if I'm not really like releasing that energy, like that negative energy from my body, like I cannot function. But how about yourself? What are some things that you're doing?
same thing. So once I graduated, right, I gained 15 pounds. So
Hack
I
Reactor 15, man.
yeah, so I told myself you gotta lose that. So I worked out in my garage for the entire quarantine time, and I lost it. I lost 15 pounds, so which is great. And then at the same time, oh, I almost forgot. Maybe we can talk about this the next time. But whenever we code, right, like, and we take a break, that's when I say if we hit a wall,
It's
um,
nighttime.
yeah, you're able to like find solutions. So I find in my experience, after working out, my brain is alive. It's less
Oh,
stressed out.
definitely agree. I, I
Yeah,
I personally like what I used to do every time I hit a break. I would just go to the kitchen and start eating, which is like that's
yeah,
probably the worst thing you can do. But I was like, that's what I used to do. You know, I hit a break. I'm like, okay, man, I'm gonna start eating, come back, and
yeah,
yeah, but doing some kind of physical activity is so much better. But
yeah,
all right, man. Well, dude, I'll make sure to like drop in your, if it's cool with you, like I'll post your LinkedIn or just any kind of like social media
yeah.
link
I
that you
have
want to have.
LinkedIn. I also have Instagram, and I also have a YouTube. But I'm not a YouTuber. You can just like if you guys want to visit it, you can just to see who I am.
And dude, the next interview we have to be wearing like our Jets uniforms, man.
Yeah,
I forgot you're a
right.
Jets fan, bro.
Oh
No,
yeah.
oh
Oh
yeah,
no. Yeah.
we can do like either Hack Reactor hoodies or Jets actually like outfit, because like that's it's crazy, dude. Like you're a Jets fan. I don't know like a lot of
Yeah.
Jets fans, so like I get super excited.
We're
But
rare.
guys, thank you so much, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and if you guys have any questions, like hit me up, and I'll ask Ivan, or if you guys just want to hit up Ivan directly because you guys think he's cooler than me, totally cool. I'm okay with that. But all right, guys, thank you so much, Ivan. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Thank you, Alex. Appreciate you.
Hold on.